Last time on QuestFest. As you get closer, you see a...
Hoping we'll be led to a translator.
Yeah.
As though reading the DM's mind. An obviously authoritative figure steps out from the fortifications, more adorned. His weapons have seen use. He has 2 short swords on each side of his hips and a spellbook hanging from his neck. He looks over the group, and the DM rolls a knowledge check. I'm checking my notes.
What is this conflict about?
What is this conflict about?
What are you fighting over?
What are you fighting over? He points towards others now.
Do you know any of the Firbolgs from around here?
Do you know any of the Firbolgs from around here?
Do you understand or just repeat?
Do you understand or just repeat?
Estimate.
Hi, my name is Richard.
Hi, my name is Richard.
He is learning our language right now.
Right.
10 minutes later, as Cameron calls out what I'm doing before we're allowed to know, he begins to speak in your language in flawless accents. He says, "Thank you." Takes a little time to get it in the tongue. It's a long story, one based in conflict. Here at this moment, what you can know is that we are fighting for our survival. Bastion wishes us off the land. We wish to remain. I don't have time to talk. I'm sorry. Truly. Thank you for your aid. I encourage you to leave. Quickly. Alana is coming.
We need to speak to Alana.
You don't speak to her. He walks to you, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and he turns you to the west. Next to the sun, a second great flame, growing larger, blue-white, trailing from it. She comes. So, the figure has taken your face. I really thought we'd...
What?
Avatar shit?
No, Alan. So I really thought I gave you the name. So,
Alan?
yeah, that's the shaman's name.
Alan.
That's such an interesting...
Alan is the name of the shaman of the
Who knows your language?
Grasslandians.
Yeah.
Tim Allen?
No,
Please, no.
Alan Moonfall, actually. That character dies.
Can we all kill the Tim Allen character?
He actually, as his mouth opens, he's choked by his own sexism. It just like...
His name is Fuzz Lightbeard.
We beat him up, but we leave him alive just enough so he can do the Santa Claus TV show for Disney Plus.
Fair.
Oh.
Is that a thing?
He is. It is.
I don't want that to be a thing.
No one wants it to be
I want
a
him
thing.
to be gone.
Dark.
This is the
Not
Dark
like from
Podcast.
life, just from
yeah.
TV shows.
Sure. I mean,
You know.
sure.
Okay, Cameron.
Okay.
All right. So he has turned your face and has pointed at the incoming fireball.
It is Ilana doing that?
That is Alana.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I'm afraid we don't have much time to speak. And perhaps I've forgotten to give you my... Is this the voice I was using?
It was your voice.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Basically.
We don't have much time to speak, and perhaps I have forgotten to give you my name.
Yes, I'm sorry. Where are my manners?
Alan Moonfall, for myself, and you are?
Dominic LaRue. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Same. He looks to each of you in kind.
Fergus Fogflower. How do you do?
Fatia Fodbrook. Richard Sucker.
You sound ashamed of your name. Is there any reason that...
No, I just ashamed of myself, I guess.
Why?
We're working on it. We're trying to build
We're
it up.
workshopping it
Yeah.
a little bit here. We're trying.
Yeah.
All right, well, it has been a pleasure. I encourage you to leave, and quickly. There will be battle soon. He turns and you see him march sort of back to his troops.
Can you be aided?
He turns back with a quizzical expression on his face. You would fight further.
I look around to the rest of my compatriots and say, I think if my friends would, then I would as well. It seems that your cause is the right one to fight for.
Absolutely willing.
Fighting is my main goal here, so. Richard?
I mean, I'm just kind of here.
We got a long way to go.
It's going to be a long road.
What we intend to do is likely to get us killed.
Valhalla! I'm ready!
Drums in the distance.
Fargus leans in. He's like,
We're working on that too.
Fatia, if I have anything to do about that, you'll stick around for a little bit longer. You'll get to Valhalla sometime. You said you might get us killed. We're formidable. I will do everything I can to have your people not be killed.
At this point, for the rest of you, the ball of fire that Dominic's eyes were drawn to is now visible that all of you see it without difficulty. And the light is blinding. If the sun is bright, this is, as it grows closer, leagues brighter. It hurts more to look at Alana than it does to look towards the sun. We intend to capture a god.
Oh, what do you say, friends? You want to help capture a god?
Fatia just starts nodding her head vigorously. Yes, do it.
Fargus reaches over and like cranks a small knob on his glove up on both sides. And he's like,
Yeah, sure, I can work that in. We can do that.
I mean, I'm only level 4.
We all are.
I don't know if this is a test for us from the ball work. Maybe this is exactly what we need to do to prove ourselves. So if you all are in, I'm in.
we leveled up last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Level
Give me 1 second, please.
Fergus!
I'm at it.
So, he says, follow me. As he walks, he begins to explain the plan for you. We have enlisted the aid of another immortal. We're going to serve to weaken Alana so that we can capture her and take away the major advantage that Bastion has in this conflict.
I thought we were supposed to talk to Alana. That's what the guy said.
They did just say we needed to see Alana.
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Brian, right? They just said is it Tim that said we needed to see Alana?
Tim said that you needed to, I don't remember specifically if I said speak to or see, but he did say it was meet was need.
Okay.
Now, I will admit, you can go back and listen to my words, and if I said speak or hear, I actually don't remember. But you got the impression that you needed to meet her.
Because you said with Alan that like you can't speak to.
That is correct. Alan told you that you cannot speak with Alana. And as the fireball brightens and comes nearer, it seems to make sense as to why.
Mm-hmm.
As you grow closer to the camp again and sort of take in it, Alan points out the multiple small stone fortifications that the grassland that they have put together. Excuse me. He explains that there are mages at each of the different fortifications, and they will all be essentially activating various spells and sigils in an effort to weaken Alana. They'll be concentrating their energies, creating mist and darkness, which Alana's powers grow weaker when she is separated from the light of the sun. At least that's what they think. There's no proof to back this up, but except what has been expressively told from this other immortal. You can sense an air of sort of incredulity to Alan.
Incredulity?
Yeah, that word, not what I said. It seems as though, and he makes quite obvious, this is not much of an insight check, that he does not trust this immortal. As you grow closer back to the camp, you hear one of the other captains is giving a speech. On the horizon, the ball of fire now is nearly as large as the sun. You would guess by the rate it's growing that they should be here in moments. From the Grassland captain, you hear sort of the ending quotes as he says, "What use are men when gods fight with us? Simple. We aren't. But today mortals will conquer the gods, and we will capture them. What we do today determines the life and freedom of the Grasslands. To lose is to starve, and to win is to live." And with that, a cheer erupts from the troops. Alan turns to you with a grave look on his face. "You still have time to leave. Are you determined upon this?"
Why does Alana want to fight for Bastian?
We do not know. She just always has, since the formation of this fledgling nation.
Nonetheless, I think, as I said before, if my comrades are in, then I am as well.
Then prepare yourselves, for we do not have much time. There are stores inside to recover and rest, and then we'll set about putting you among the fortifications. He turns away and he sort of quickly jogs back to the troops, and you can see him speaking with the captains. As he does, you see horsemen ticking off, sending messages to each of the different fortifications. Now, blue light begins to emit from each of the stone towers, forming a almost shield that creates a half dome over the battlefield. On the other side, Bastion troops begin to move, breaking off into smaller, more mobile elements, marching towards each of the fortifications in kind. It is clear that they plan to meet and attack and hopefully dissolve. Whether they have an idea what's going on is yet to be seen, but they know that it cannot be good.
Do you have any sort of workshop that I could maybe tinker in? I would like to prepare for the battle and maybe come up with some things.
If you go inside, ask for the quartermaster and tell him that you have access to our reserves.
Fantastic, thank you.
From a meta perspective, you each have about an hour to do what you can with that. You also, of course, have just leveled up. So this is sort of as though you are easing into that level.
Okay.
Cool. I don't have anything to do with it because I have full hit points, but can't get spell slots back on
Yeah,
short
I was like, I have full hit points, but can't get spell slots.
I do not have full hit points, but I also can't get spell slots back.
I will say that if you gained a spell slot from leveling up,
Use that.
you can use that, but you will not have a restored spell slot.
Mm-hmm. Whenever we get in like a private room, can I be like, "Hey, I was wondering, this book here is well, it's really scary, honestly, and I don't want it. I think I should just like we should try to destroy it or something, but if we're gonna go to war, I mean, he said I needed to be more powerful, and I mean, I am really weak, and I don't know.
What concerns you about this book?
I mean, I set a guy on fire, and I mean, I kind of meant to, but it was like black and like scary, and it's like I don't know, it stayed, and
Unfortunately, sometimes the things that scare us are the things that make us better. we're just afraid to do it because it's something different than what we haven't. You did the right thing, Richard.
It's like, wow, you should put that on a pillow. That's gorgeous.
Unfortunately, I don't sew, but maybe I can learn that in my hour of free time.
I'd like to note as well. I did already apologize, but I'm very sorry for lashing out at you. It seemed after the fact that the fire it wasn't continuing to kill him. I don't know what is up with it either, but from what I've seen from you, you're more powerful than you think you are. And if someone thought you needed this book, I think perhaps you can be powerful enough to control the things you can do with it.
Okay.
Plus, you have us. We'll make sure nothing happens to you.
Great. Vargas, you got any input?
I say just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job. You're keeping people alive, and that's what matters. You're keeping us alive, specifically. Quite frankly, I don't care what happens to the Bastian bastards, but...
I think that's a consensus there.
Yeah,
I don't think any of us care about the bastards.
I mean, I'm not in favor of killing people, but...
Look at it this way. From our perspective, they're already dead. I think we've been tossed, backwards? So, everyone
it seems
here...
like it. And
yeah.
Maybe that's why I feel a little more confident about going into this situation that we almost certainly will die in too. We certainly didn't die in the past, so...
Yeah, well, if I have anything to say about it, we're going to be all just a little bit safer. You give me your armor.
So I will take Richard's armor and going to go into the smithy and work on it, get it studded.
This will serve you better, keep you safer, and the rest of you, as I can, I'm going to keep upgrading you and just keeping you safer.
Oh, thanks. This is fancy.
Made in an hour. This is not my best work.
There's only two
The
studs
nails
they're
just
added.
sticking out.
Just the nipple. Put me on one armor class. Richard?
It's just
I'm sorry, it was colder in the smithy than I expected.
It's just the Batman.
Yes. Nipples.
Richard is actually in a chainmail bikini now.
Oh,
That's what's
no.
happened. It's very confusing.
That's why the armor class is the same, because it's better armor but less coverage.
So you look like Princess Leia, but a vampire.
And the man.
So, as you are given studded leather armor, a younger member of the Grassland troops comes running in and has little blue potions. And he hands them out and he says, "Take them." And then runs back out.
Thank you.
What?
Okay.
I don't
Take the-
understand.
A potion? You don't...
These aren't...
Can Fargus do some kind of Arcana check?
You can try an Arcana check. If you have Identify, of course, that would be... you could cast that.
I do
Is
not.
there any other people around?
I mean, you could, go outside and ask any of the troops. There's quite a few of them.
I'm going to go outside.
So Richard ducks his head outside, and you'll see, even just outside your doors there are troops, all of which are drinking the potion.
Oh.
Is this like the thing you gave to me a while ago where I was not fully here?
No, that was a health potion. I don't know what this is.
I'm going to ask the soldier outside the door, be like, "Hey, what is this blue stuff?"
It's a potion of fire resistance.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Fargus downs it.
Yeah, Dominic does as well.
Does it have a time limit?
If you ask him, he says,
I agree. Okay, thank you. And then I pop back out. Does this have like a time limit? Should we drink it right now or
"You should." In the sky, the looming threat is so close. He says, "Yes, definitely now, and about an hour."
Okay, thank you.
And as you're kind of leaving, he says, "And if we're not done with the fight in an hour, we're all dead anyway."
Okay,
Pantifatia,
Thank
just
you.
sniffing at it, swirling it around, just tonguing the part of it. And just
What are you doing?
So, on a personal
Static
level,
again. We're sorry.
Fatia needed a moment with the
I was
bottle.
just like, I don't. And now I'm red. Anyway.
So we gotta drink these potions because it's a fire resistant spell potion thing. So he said do it now because there's a sun coming at us.
Makes sense.
Okay, if you say so, Richard.
What's it taste like, Brian?
Raspberry.
And it's blue. It's not purple. Like
Raspberry?
anti-fire
Is
potions
it like
in
the
RuneScape.
potion that I made?
It tastes like a blue raspberry mule.
Yeah. Like what we're going to have in Quest Feast book.
I was going to say it tastes like a cool breeze and the smell of the ocean. But that's way less interesting. So blue raspberry, vodka, and ginger beer, apparently.
No, I like
And
that. It's
other secret ingredients
Yeah.
that you can find
in our
in
Quest
Quest Feast.
Made by Ryan Fleming.
And it pairs great with Sam's Best because we haven't brought it yet. After an hour, after all of the preparations have been made, one last young troop, the same as before. His eyebrows are heavy and drooped. He looks tired. He hands out another potion and he says, "If you need any restoration, take this." And he runs back as though he's been sprinting the whole time.
cool.
Thank you. You're doing a great job.
Knees up. Keep them up. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Is resistance the same as my resistance spell? Or is it...
It gives you basically half damage. So, which is the same as.
What do these restoration potions do? Are they just healing?
They're a cream color, unlike something you've seen before.
Fellow soldier, what do these restoration potions do?
I'm assuming this is the same one as before. And he's like, "Do you drink spell slots? It'll restore your energy."
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Drink it now.
Drink it now.
Chug.
How many spell slots?
All of them.
All of them? What?
It's not actually wouldn't be all of them if you had more than 4 missing, but you
I
guys
only
only
had
have
2
like 2 missing.
I
so
had 3.
What?
Yep. I used a couple, but it's fine.
Sweet.
this is something that is uncommon to you, and even in modern day, you have never seen something like this.
Can Fargus take a little bit and just put it in a small, very, very small vial and pop it in his glove for later?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll let that.
I'm going to make more of this later. This is good shit.
And that was the story of how Sam's Best was formed.
Whoa.
Is that why it's creamy? It's oat?
Oh, gross.
It's made with Sam's Best oats. Or granola.
I mean,
A weighty silence takes over the camp now as the last moments before the peace ends. You're beckoned out of the fortification at some point and asked to join the rest of the troops. And as you do so, they point at locations that would be beneficial. So for Cameron, obviously, they want you, Dominic, in the front. Richard, they encourage you to set up on the fortification so you have easy access for your healing spells. Fargus, they don't know what to do with you because they have never seen a furbolg with no arms and a crazy metal contraption surrounding him.
I mean, I've got arms. They're just big and metal and shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean is it's they're like, what is this?
I have ranged. I mainly have ranged, but I can cast spells and I have things that can assist people.
They beckon you then towards Richard's position as well and set you up with several, essentially. You have on the wall there yourself, Richard, as a cleric, and you see 2 shamans who are not part of the ritual. They seem to be focused on the ground combat. For Fatia, they aren't exactly sure, based on your appearance, what it is you do. They encourage you, if you're more ranged, to perhaps settle with the mages behind the stone wall, or if you are more front line, to find yourself near Dominic.
ages, I think.
Okay. So you are all 3 together with Dominic on the ground. Dominic, once you get in front of the wall, you can see Bastion troops advancing. It's a true line, almost 10 by 10, at least 100, of various degrees. They aren't marching in the traditional military structure that you've seen before. While they all have similar markings, they aren't wearing the winged sword of Eudex. Instead, while they are in traditional colors, seem less fitted. Above you, all of you can see that Alana is a blue-white flame above the battlefield, coming in at great velocity. It has not grown in size. At this point, you can tell it is maybe 20 feet tall and 10 feet wide, but is bright. If you should look towards the sky during this encounter, you will, by need, to rest your eyes. It is, at this point, brighter than what the sun appears.
Before I leave them at the post behind to go up to the front lines, can I come up like to all the other three? And I'd like to put my hands on Richard and Fatia's shoulders and address them all and say, "Be strong, friends. I'll see you at the end of this." And I would like to cast, I mean, it only lasts like 10 minutes, but that's like several rounds of combat, a Shield of Faith on Richard.
Okay.
Dang it, I was gonna cast Shield of Faith on you. We just do a bro hug.
All right. From where you are, you can oversee most of the battlefield. You're at one of the fortifications, but there are several others that span across the battlefield, not to mention the bulk of both sides' forces have met in the middle. And there's almost this quiet tension in the air as they're staring off, as they're waiting for the other to move. You can count at least 200 men on each side, and it's as though they're waiting for a signal. And with a pause, you hear a trumpet sound from the side of Bastion, and the forces meet in the middle with a howl of screeching metal and clashing. Horses whinny and die. Blood is spilt. And before all of you, combat beckons. Dominic, you were the first to meet troops. So given how chaotic this will be, I'm going to essentially go in order. This will be a little bit less standard fare than us trying to simulate, right, full initiative. Unless you want me to sit here and make 200 rolls, but we might be here a
Nah,
The timer begins. Dominic, advancing towards you are several troops. You and the rest of the line of grassland troops, they are not heavily armored. They are quick and they immediately begin darting towards the enemy, breaking the line, leaving you standing between the doorway and the mages. Well, I should say the gap in the wall. What is your move? You can advance toward them. You can beckon down where you are. How do you handle yourself?
I think that I'm defending. I think that we have front lines taking on the front line work. So I will hunker and defend.
As you do, you see the grassland troops, the men and women who are around you, darting in and out, sort of as they can, doing this mobile attack, taking out Bastion troops. Archers rain arrows around you, and you yourself are protected with your heavy armor. However, many of the grassland troops are not, and in the first wave, many fall. On the wall, you see all of this happening. There are roughly maybe 50 men advancing with Bastion colors towards this fortification. We'll start with Fargus. How do you comport yourself here?
Okay.
To sort of give a diagram, for the Bastion side, you have effectively a 10-man front line, all heavily armored with shields, and they come back as though a point. So 10, 8, 6, 4, etc. Around them, creating the full square, you see what is clearly clerics and mages, as well as archers on the back line.
How far away are they?
They're at this point within ease of range. We're talking 60 feet, 30 in some cases for the front lines. It is more than that, but I should say for the first wave of troops. If you're trying to hit the back lines, you're talking closer to 120 feet.
Okay.
Very quickly, so again, as we're not going to kind of be going in full turns, very quickly, if you're to wait a breath, the forces will meet and begin to merge, creating a much thinner line as they sort of back and forth and turn itself into almost a yin and yang of met forces. So this isn't something where if you're holding, waiting for a spell, just go ahead and more tell me what you're thinking.
Okay, I'm going to pick one of the guys on the front row, and I'm just going to do a lightning launcher.
Perfect. So you launch volleys of lightning. Go ahead, just for the sake, roll a few times, looking for a crit. If not, don't worry.
Okay, how many,
Just give us 5. Let's say this is a span of, roughly 30 seconds, right? 25 seconds. Wait. 5 times 6 is 30, yeah.
Okay. I've got 3, 9, 13, 11, and 15.
So an average of around 10 packed forces. You are hitting Bastion troops and they are surging. Still, standing, but you're obviously causing damage. What do you do, Richard, as the troops are beginning to meet? What is your kind of go-to action as they're falling? Are you focused on healing or on damage?
I would assume healing, but I also feel like I would want to save those spells for if, Dominic gets attacked.
That's fine.
So, I don't know.
In your head, Richard,
Oh, no.
there's a pounding, pulsing sensation, an anxious feeling, because you are the only one who knows and are aware, because you didn't tell anyone, that this is the severing, which means that you are aware that Bastion wins this encounter.
Do I know where Alan went?
You see Alan, he is moving in between all of his forces, as though teleporting quickly and frantically, giving both direction as well as lending direct aid.
And do I see the person that was immortal on our side?
No. In fact, no one has seemingly mentioned him. Alana yet has to technically arrive at the field.
Mm-hmm.
Now that action has been stirred, however, I'll say all of you notice this. I probably should have made you roll a check, but, it's late. You see the fireball has begun to hasten and now is descending towards the greater bulk of the forces. You were told earlier that is the plan. The goal is to have Alana attack the bulk of the grassland forces. They're the bait.
I'm just going to cast Prayer of Healing on 3 people in the front.
So you reserve your spells and then, when necessary, effectively help those in need. A very Richard-like move. Fatia.
I'm going to cast Shatter.
Okay.
So that's a 60-foot range, and then it's 10-foot radius sphere centered on a specific point. So what would do the most?
Yeah.
Okay.
So effectively, you are letting loose with magical energy. Shatter is a loud spell as well. So the battlefield, which had been filled with the screams of dying men and shrieks of metal clashing, now has a sonic boom as Fatia let loose her energy. Go ahead and get a roll. Let's just see if it's above average here.
8, 3, and 7.
Solid. That's, yeah. So an above average, effectively, amount of damage. Now, here's the question for you. Are you going to do that once? Or are you going to be effectively flinging volleys of spells here? So you could do it again, but it is going to use your spell slots.
That's fine.
Okay. So twice, sonic booms clash with the opposition, and you see men of Bastion falling, blown quite literally to pieces as they are exploded, and the sonic energy perforates the air, hurting your ears. Quickly, the battle turns to sludge, as often these frays do. Within just the first minute, Dominic, you're tiring. You feel the weight of your armor as they march towards you, and you are defending off multiple waves.
Mm-hmm.
But you stand. On the wall, you see that the battle here, within the first minute, the Bastion troops are beginning to fall back, counting their dead. They're down to possibly 70. On the Grassland side, 40 or 30. The first wave was far more in favor of the Bastion troops. And with a shriek and a hiss, above you, the fireball, which had been descending, lands among the Grassland's bulk of forces, a great ball of blue-white light that, as it hits the ground, erupts, and all of you roll Constitution saves, even at the distance you're at.
Oh, good.
DC 12 here.
Oh boy. Yeah. 16 for Dominic.
19 for Fatia.
That's gonna be a 7 for Fergus.
Gosh.
7.
So those of you who rolled less than a 12, you're blinded momentarily, and as combat renews, you will have a bit of an after image. You will take disadvantage for the next 30-ish seconds.
Okay.
Basically, this next wave of combat here. But Alana has entered the fray. As the ball tightens, you see a figure almost statuesque. Roll perception, all of you. As she lands and emits this ball of fire, combat almost halts for a split second.
14.
15.
15 for Dominic.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
7.
So,
No, it was a 3 with a modified nat 1.
Oh, no. You're
So-
blind.
Fatia and Dominic,
I'm blind.
your attentions are pulled and your eyesight is good enough that you see Alana. She's dressed in a tight red-black tunic. She has black boots and gloves that are turning to ash even as she draws from her side a sword of black-red coal. Smoke and ash follow her like a halo. And she begins to fight. Great blooms of fire emitting from her hands, from her sword scorching the earth below it as she begins to slaughter the Grassland troops.
Is she like now in the middle of all of...
She's in the bulk, the below you where the 200 are. Nowhere close. I mean, between you is a veritable army, but you can see the action.
How close?
We're talking, I mean, at the bottom of the hill, all the way down, I mean, 700 to 1,000 feet. You would have, these troops will have to leave. And they are marching back. The 70 force remaining, marching towards the 30 that you were with. So for this next 30 seconds, how do you comport yourselves?
I think Dominic's going to look back at all of his friends and just one fist over his chest, no words, and to himself just thinks, here goes nothing, and charges in as fast as he can.
Fatia sees this and in response echoes it back like a drum beat and then just follows after Dominic.
You'll be several seconds behind as you are coming down, but that's fine. As you charge past the Grassland troops, they turn to you with obvious awe and fear in their eyes because you are charging into a battlefield. And as you meet with the foe, you feel blades begin. So let's go ahead and get you to roll 5 attacks. Again, 30 seconds here.
This is where we're going to die.
Can I
Dominic did just run into a battlefield, guys. I will say.
can I borrow 2 more D20s?
Yes.
Upon the hill, this is worth noting. You watch Dominic charge. The men behind him taking action seeing his bravery, the Grassland troops charge in behind. But you are leading the point.
Holy shit. So with my attack modifier, that's 13, 14, 14, 24, 22.
So a majority of your strikes do clink off the armor as the multiple speed of blows, but the 2 you hit are successful. Do you smite?
Oh, yes.
So on both, you fry. You can tell me how it's done.
I think like all of my magical effects take on the look of like blue lightning with the flavor of Dominic being blue dragonborn. And I if I can like squeeze it in for flavor too, I'll fucking use up my breath weapon charge for the day and everything.
Absolutely. You charge in.
The most fucking fury I can bring upon this person, because like Dominic is terrified, but is going to be as brave as he can. So he is coming in like long sword, like emblazoned with blue lightning, just swiping as furiously as he can, and like roaring with blue lightning coming out of his mouth. And
beside you, the Grassland troops fight with the ferocity they had not had until yet. Spearmen coming in, and roots and grass pulling the very Bastion troops from their horses and down to the ground. On the wall, you see a furious battle ensuing. Richard, how do you react?
Well, first I'm gonna like find Fargus and be like, Fargus, I don't think we should be here. I don't know. I think Bastion is gonna win. I think this is the severing. I don't know if we should be up here. We're all gonna die. And Dominic just ran into the thing, and he just like ran into the sun. And I'm gonna try to pray to you, Dex.
Fargus, how do you react?
I think. So Fargus kind of takes all that in, and he just sort of stands there and he looks down at his friends, who he frankly just met, but is very worried about going down there. And he's like, well, if this is the severing, if this is where people die, if this is what happens, then fuck it, I'm going down there too. Like, if we have a chance to stop the severing, I'm going to throw everything I have at this. And so,
holy shit, we're only gonna have 2 parties in this.
So with that, I think Fargus just like pounds his fist together. There is a small explosion of blue energy as like just arcane meets arcane, and he's just gonna jump down and charge in.
Okay. Richard, you stand alone. The other mages and clerics are aiding the forces below. You see them casting the roots that are pulling down the troops. You see lightning crashing from a sky, obviously beckoned by one of your fellows. You watch Fargus jump off the fortification and run towards his ally. What do you do?
I assume that my prayers are not being answered. Can I open my little black book and
I'll say
try
this.
to
Do you
read
continue to pray? So Fargus jumps, but I was sort of... Is that when you begin to pray?
Sure.
Real quick, as Fargus is running away, I think an idea crosses his head, and he turns around and he says, if this is the past, if everybody's gonna die, I think you could just cut loose and eat whatever you want. And he runs.
Pledge of the Blood Gods! I was thinking, I don't know, am I gonna go bite the sun?
Roll a d20. No, d100. It's a d100.
Oh god, oh god. I have one. I do want a real one. 33.
Okay. You know what? I'll make this even more fair.
Uh-oh. I goes to voicemail.
You hear a rasping, deep basso voice. Who is this?
Hi, I'm Richard Sucker.
How did you get this number?
This is a great
Is your refrigerator?
Oh my god.
Richard, talk to God.
Hi, my name is Richard Sucker, and I think my friends are gonna die, and I'm really worried, and I prayed to you, Dex, and I honestly don't know if you are them or not, but I could use some help if you can.
What help?
Do you know Alana?
And with that, the figure on the battlefield turns, blue light blazing, towards the fortification you're standing on, and your eyes meet.
And I'm blinded forever.
Fatia, you are running behind Dominic.
I think I would probably be readying my crossbow at
So-
this point.
Sort of launching volleys of arrows as you sort of dance into the gap that the charge has left.
Correct.
Fargus, you are also sort of meeting in this dry area as the press of attack is upon. All of you roll perception checks.
That dice has been rolling bad for you.
Yep.
It's 4 every time.
Kill.
19 for Dominic.
19 for Fargus.
19 for Fatia.
Hell yeah.
7. I'm still blinded.
Simultaneously, two things happen, of which all of you, except Richard, who is still staring into the eyes of Alana. First, all three of you recognize intimately and intensely that Alana, the heat of her visage has turned, and you can see that she is looking at the fortification. More importantly, you can see that she is staring at Richard. Secondly, with a great crack, like the sound a pine tree makes when it breaks during a deep winter, you see a blue explosion, small than large, erupting in the air above what remains of the center of the grassland troops. A figure cloaked in ice and darkness that drip off them almost like oily blackness, under which angelic-like wings unfurl to reveal a man dressed in what seems to be a practical blue-white finery. A blue and white adorned jacket with fine leather pants, and 2 rapiers that seem to be made of ice hanging on his hip. And he drops upon the battlefield. Pinions of ice and water crash to the land below, lancing the earth and creating trenches of devastation in the Bastion forces. And you see Alana turn from Richard to this new figure, her sword erupting, and they meet. Around you, the fortifications all let loose the stored energy that had been growing and pulsating in power. Blue energy now what was a half dome collapses now to a full dome over the battlefield, and mist erupts. It obscures your vision, but also you see the flames that Alana produces begin to temper from a blue hot to orange and red heat. Dominic, you're amidst a fury of battle. What do you do?
I think Dominic becomes even more enraged with, like, empowered with the protective nature of wanting to protect his friend, and sees that Alana looked at Richard, and I say, you leave him the fuck alone. Your fight is here. And I drop my shield so I can start fighting two-handed with my longsword, and I just as many attacks as I can land.
Okay, go ahead and give us another 5 here. Fargus, in front of you, Dominic has erupted in fury, dropping his weapon, or dropping his shield, and fighting two-handed, slicing and crashing into the Bastion forces.
The lowest one's 19 to hit.
Nice. Successfully on each blow, striking down.
See, it rolled okay.
What do you do?
How far away is he?
We'll say at this point we're talking 30 to 60 feet. It's tough because it's a moving rumble.
Okay.
There are troops all around you, though. What was 70 is perhaps 50, but the Grasslands are also losing troops at an equal number.
Man, I really want to roll 5d5s plus 5, or 5d10s plus 5 now.
Do it.
It's not necessary.
I am going to, with a bonus action, I would like to cast Sanctuary on Dominic.
Okay.
So that just means for the next minute.
They have to roll a wisdom save to hit him at all. Yep.
And then aside that, I'm still just like lightning launcher. Yeah, just going at it.
Nice. You see it take effect immediately, and blows that were obviously being turned towards Dominic turn towards another troop, towards Grassland, or fail entirely. Fatia. What are you doing as Dominic enrages?
That would have been 68 damage.
Okay, so in perspective, how far am I from Dominic and how far am I from Richard?
Again, tough to say as this is a moving rumble, right? I would say as you had just moved down there, you're talking 30 to 90 feet from both.
If I were to cast Bardic Inspiration, would you grant that?
Sure, absolutely.
At the effect of seeing Alana look at Richard and knowing Dominic's got this, I'm going to cast Bardic Inspiration on Richard just to make sure everything's okay.
She runs back and gives me a pair of sunglasses. And runs back to us. Gotta go!
That's my bonus action. I think I'd still be letting loose
Just
arrows.
sort of follows. Yeah.
Legolasing it, if you will.
Yes. Richard. You hear, I send help.
Are you Alana?
No response.
Because, I mean, if you are, I think maybe my friend is trying to hit you right now. But, like, I don't... I want to know if you're a good guy or a bad guy, or the guy that just landed on the battlefield is a good guy or a bad guy, and I don't know, I'm just a guy, okay?
I send help.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
you feel the connection, the almost weight that you hadn't realized was there dissolve.